Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition. For tonight headlines, we have the meetings on the introductions of new cultures of public management. For international scene, opening an investigation after the train accident that made 17 deaths. Welcome to our newsroom. The Prime Minister is Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed has presided this Wednesday, July 3, 2019 at the People's Palace, an important meeting to strengthen the process of monitoring and evaluations of public policy implemented in the Republic of Djibouti. The meeting thus brought together under the auspices of the Prime Ministers all the members of government as well as senior executive of the cabinet of the presidency and the prime ministers. In addition, a delegation of from the World Bank as well as head international experts from a Malaysian cabinet also took part in these consultation sessions on the ways and means of injecting a new public management culture into the Djibouti. With this in mind, high-level administrative unit in charges of the implementation of the concept called delivery unit, whose task is to collect and analyze data with a view to better performance, will be set up shortly, and this to support the process of monitoring and evaluations of public policy implement and more generally the government actions as a whole. In a short speech on this occasion, Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed underlined the paramount importance of this new approach. He especially stressed the need for a change in mentalities and working methods in order to make effective the introductions of the new culture of management and results-based management. This approach is strongly desired by the President of the Republic to better meet the aspirations of the Djiboutian. The Vice President of the World Bank Group for the Middle East and North Africa, Mr. Farid Belhaj, currently on a working visit to Djibouti, was received yesterday by the Prime Ministers Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed. The interview took place in the presence of the Minister of Economy and Finance, Ilyas Musa Dawale, and the Director of the Cabinet of the Prime Minister, Mr. Yusuf Aouled. Also present were the new resident representative, Mr. Andrew Kishners, and the former residents of the missions, Mr. Atu Sek. The discussion is focused on the progress of the successful cooperation between the international financial institution and the Republic of Djibouti, noting that the directors of the Pacific regions from 2000 significantly increased the World Bank in assistance in low-income countries. A ceremony of awards of distinctions took place this Wednesday, July, at the cabinet of the Premature. Thus, the Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed present a badge of merit and distinctions to the personality from Senegal. It is Mr. Atu Sek who is elevated to the rank of officers in the national office. In the national orders of 27 June, attend the ceremony of decoration several high personalities, including the Minister of Economy and Finance, Ilyas Musa Dawale, and the Minister of Interior, Momin Ahmed Sheikh, the Minister of Housing, Ms. Amina Abdi Aden, the Minister of Health, Mohammed Warsama Diriye, as well as the governors of the Central Bank, Mr. Ahmed Osman Atu Sek, served as a resident representative of the World Bank in Djibouti since June 1st, 2016. Prior to his transfer to Djibouti, Atu Sek had worked as a specialized economist in education in several African countries. The office of the Ministry of Finance hosted this morning's signing ceremony of an agreement of fundings up to a new social protection operations, and the project of additional financings of the health sectors. This project totals a set of $205 million, to which will be added for 21 million, including 10 million from the sub-windows for refugee and host community. The second social protections project is worth of $15 million. It will expand and improve the social safety net systems and improve access to basic service in targeting poor communities. A servant additional funding from the $6 million health sector performance improvement project aim to help the most vulnerable in Djibouti mothers and children receiving health and nutrition services in institutions contract health, including refugee and asylum seekers. Targeting these populations, the additional funding helps the poorest and most vulnerable, both operation support for the systems of speaking on these occasions. The Minister of Finance, Ilyas Musa Dawale, has stressed the importance that the health of state gives to the improvement of the access of all the citizens, social protection and systems of health effective in meeting the demand of economic and social development. The Police Academy Idris Farah Habane hosted yesterday afternoon a ceremony of handing over the 2 keys of tanker truck on several water tanks. These materials given to the Ministers of Interior are intended for migrants who take the difficult migratory route. This noble project is implemented by the International Organization for Migration on the financing of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Is part of a support programs for borders countries such as Somalia and Ethiopia. The issue of water remains at the head of all fights. The many migrants trying to cross our country, the lack of water can be deadly, and address this issue. 10 cisterns of water tanks and 2 tankers will now be installed along the corridor to help vulnerable migrants fight dehydratations and thirst. The Ministers of Interior, Mumin Ahmed Sheikh, the Minister of Women and Family, Mumin Ahmed Hassan, the General Directors of National Police, Colonel Abdullah Abdi Farah, the Chargé d'Affaires of the Embassy of Saudi Arabia in Djibouti, International Organization Project Manager in Djibouti, Lalini Vera Sami, and the representative of the Obor Tajora Prefect took part in this ceremony held at Idris Police Academy. For her part, the Minister of Women and Family, Momina Ahmed Hassan, in her speech, recalled that in our country, our religious waters remains the most beautiful act of charity. For the many migrants trying to cross our country, the lack of water can be deadly, and they address the issues. 10 cisterns and water tanks. The 2 tankers will now be installed along the corridor to help vulnerable migrants fight dehydratations and thirst. For his part, the Interior Minister Mumin Ahmed Sheikh thanked the International Organization for Migration in Saudi Arabia for this noble gesture. For many migrants trying to cross our country, the lack of water can be deadly, and to address the issues, 10 cisterns of water tanks and 2 tankers will now be installed along the corridors to help vulnerable migrants fight dehydratations and thirst. As part of the project to increase the productivity of the crops and livestock production in Djibouti, the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization Representations Office, FAO, organized a workshop to review and validate studies on the documentation of the mechanism access to natural resources, to the means of production, of survival strategy, and the criteria of nutritional habit and of rural household in Djibouti. The objectives of this workshop is to proceed with the recitations of the results and conclusions of the studies carried out by the research department to all the stakeholders with a view to its validation and analysis of socio-economic and environmental data in rural area. This project, funded by the European Union and implemented by FAO, is used to establish appropriate strategy for implement the activities of this project. The work of this workshop is led by Dr. Falou Gueye, International Project Coordinator, Djibouti. Participate in this workshop Dada Mano Pisongs, FAO representative in Djibouti, Secretary General Mr. Ibrahim Ilmi Mahmoud, the FAO representative in Djibouti. For his part, thanks the FAO for this beneficial studies conducted by UNESCO experts and planned the project activities on the best available resources. For his part, the Secretary General of the Ministry of Agriculture thanked all the representatives and all the officials who made effort for the success of this workshop. As part of the plan to respond to the malaria epidemic, the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Social Affairs and Solidarity, in collaboration with the UNFD, held at UNFD headquarters on 1-2 July's information meeting with community relays in the municipalities of Bulaus, Balbala. During these meetings, UNFD Vice President Ms. Hasna Ahmed Bilil and the Secretary General of the Ministry of Social Affairs Solidarity, Ms. Frah Ali Ahmed, took the floor to thank the participants for their availability and commitment, emphasize the collaborations of all in the fight of this epidemic. Discussion is focused mainly on the awareness and prevention of the population, on the risks and contaminations and the limitations of mosquito proliferation factors in the city of Djibouti. The municipalities to carry out messages of awareness and preventions. Morale is a measure of group self-confidence, motivations, and joy in the sports arena. The morals of team reflect the desire to fight and win. It is in this spirit that the players of the U14's national team had a meetings today with the leaders of the Secretary of State for Youth and Sport, the Djiboutian Federations of Football. This meeting, which took place in these conference rooms of the CTN, was sponsored by the Secretary of State for Youth and Sports Director Mr. Abshir Ali, and the Djiboutian Football Federation Secretary General Mr. Yusuf Ahmed. The objective of this initiative was, above all, to bring the moral support of the Secretary of State for Youth and Sport and the Djiboutian Federations of Football to the team, so that it can be used during the fourth. Speaking on this occasion, the sports director Abshir Ali said he was mandated by his ministries Hassan Mohamed Kamil to convey to the players and members of the technical staff his strong encouragement and support. You have the support of the Secretary of State for Youth and Sport and that of the President of the Republic, Mamagele. The Djiboutians, all without exceptions, are with you, and with all its support invite you to honor brilliantly the national. Asajok City has hosted yesterday the 25th meetings of the joint Djibouti-Ethiopian Committee of Administrators and Heads of Borders Region. The meeting was co-chaired by the Interior Ministers of the Secretary General of Siraj Omar Abdul Qadir from Djibouti, and Yibelta Azemo, Director General for Neighboring Relations, and Igad from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the launch ceremony of this one. So the participation of the Ethiopian Ambassador Mr. Muhammad, the Prefect of Ali Zabih Muhammad Waberi Asawi, The prefect of the regions of Dakhil, Tajurra and Oboh, respectively, Muhammad Sheikh Hassan, Abdul Malik Muhammad Banuta Hassan Bali Ahmed, security officers from both sides, ONAX executive directors Hussein Hassan Darar, honorary consuls of Djibouti in Dirdawa Adam Musa Array, and other high Ethiopian personalities with similar functions. For the international scene in Pointe Noire, Congo, the collisions between two freight trains in the night of Sunday to Monday cost the lives of 17 people, while 25 others were injured. This is the new balance sheet released by the authorities, who have also announced the opening for investigations, as is a railway that is unfortunately not immune to any incidents. With the same things in these railways that we think are more developed. Unfortunately, at the end of this incident, we had deplored the wounded and the loss of life. We did not need that. Unfortunately, nature is so made it think that happens. That's all for tonight's news. Thanks for watching us.